Hey, Kevo, I saw your tag and I'm afraid I have a little bit of difficulty with that one for a particular reason. I was thinking, you're talking about name three songs you love by bands that you hate. Otherwise, you're a pretentious dick, but you say everything in this particular band sucks, it's shit. I was thinking, well, maybe the opposite applies too. You're not a pretentious douchebag if there are songs you hate by bands that you love. But the difficulty I have with this kind of approach is that, well, for one thing, I'm not all that good at getting onto some kind of a bandwagon with any particular group or anything. I do love certain groups or people and musicians. I like the work they do, and some of the stuff is okay, and some of the stuff is wow. I really love. Remember the tune that when we were doing the skate thing? What was it? Ooh, Play It to the Deep with by Adele, and you said she's got great lung power. It's funny, but there's something interesting about things according to where I am at any particular time in my life, what my focus might be. I found that one particularly interesting because to me it says something about relationships. I don't know, we've been talking about relationships, and that's something I've been doing quite a bit of thinking about. And I find that to be an angry love song. I've heard somebody refer to it as the best breakup tune, and I don't see it that way. She's in love. She loves somebody so much, or at least the idea of somebody so much that she could dedicate that much effort and emotion to it. So, yeah, I thought there was something fascinating about it, and I can go through a bit of an analysis about it and everything. Maybe I will sometimes. It's really fascinating to look at it. But there are tunes that I dislike by some bands that I like. Magic Transistor Radio comes to mind by the Beach Boys. But there's and their stuff is okay. It can be fun at times, and one of the things I find interesting about music is it's actually been discovered that some of the processing that goes on with music in a person's mind is the same processing center that processes language, and they've done some research in animals and communications and birds and song and animals and the sounds that they make, and they found that there is a correlation. Music is very much a direct link to the emotional centers, because your mind, if your emotional responses would be much faster. If something startles you or makes you jump or something like that, it's kind of an emotionally directed or driven sort of response, and it's much quicker and much more effective when you automatize something in that sense. And found that, interestingly, birds in flight, and you see some of these birds, they have amazing aerobatics, and to be able to deke and duck and see some of these birds that are chasing after insects, and they dart around and they can keep after these insects. It's really fascinating. It would be almost like the dependency of an emotional response, because it's much quicker than something of a thinking process. So music or songbird communication would be much more effective and much quicker a response time you would through language and thinking processes. So music is an interesting thing, as I find it does directly go to the emotions without the thinking process. People can go through the thinking processes with it, but I find myself going along, and if you got something like a beat or something like that, it would completely nothing really of any value. Well, for an example, John Lennon, he does that Imagine, and I don't really particularly care about the lyrics, but I like the vocals, I like the music. Uh, it's a beautiful song. It has something that flows. It's something that directly speaks to your emotional centers, and I find that true with a lot of different music. And I find that a lot of times, in order for something to be something that you like, it oftentimes has some sort of a connection, possibly, I'm not sure, with some sort of sounds that may have triggered emotional response at any particular time in your life. And you may find correlations with sounds and music that remind you of it, or draw you back to that, or trigger this feeling, or you say it's something that makes you particularly cheery. Uh, let's say the Proclaimers, I would walk 500 miles. It's a proud love song, a declarative love song. And then there's Paul McCartney's Silly Love Song, is a kind of a whimsical sort of approach to love. And then there's Jason Mertz, the guy who does that other song, I'm Yours, and it's a playful love song, and I think that's really cute. So there's a lot of different emotional strands you can look at this sort of stuff, and it all depends on what strikes you in particular. There's certain types of music that I find at certain times I can go along with it and it works well with me, and other times I can just go, I don't like it. For instance, it's something Paul had said. Paul, oh damn, I can't think of his handle now. But he was talking about a song that sounds like fingernails on chalkboards to him. And before, I used to hear this tune come on, and we go, well, it's supposed to be something, uplifting, walking on sunshine, But when I hear it, and that trumpet, I find it somewhat irritating. But now, ever since I heard Paul talk about it with fingernails on the chalkboard, I laugh. It's funny when I think of it, whenever that song comes. But I never did like that song. It's one of those things I would endure more than anything else. So I really don't feel qualified to participate in the tag simply because I don't, maybe I'm really sounding pretentious here, perhaps with this, but I have a hard time taking in a particular genre or group and saying that I can't stand this. I could say I don't like rap music because a lot of times, rap, or is it, what do they give it another name? I can't remember what it is. It's similar sort of stuff. But basically, to me, it sounds very pretentious. It's very, I know what's right. You gotta listen to this. This is what it is. And it kind of grates on me in a certain respect because I'm more of the type that ask questions. I like the music that asks questions a lot of times. And I still like some declarative songs, but again, it depends on how it affects me at any particular given time. So I think it's really kind of personal, and it's very hard to put something in that respect. I say I don't like rap, and yet there is some rap that I have heard that I've actually liked. So, and that goes with anything. I can't say I'm favorite to any genre, and I've heard some, like I say, Beach Boys, that Magic Transistor Radio, I don't like that tune. But they do the Beaks of Eagles, and it's on their Holland album. If you ever get a chance to find that and listen to that song, I found it very fascinating. Amazing tune. One of the most amazing tunes, I think, by the Beach Boys. Of course, it's from my own particular slant. Maybe I need things literally spelled out to me, and the other ones are all symbolic, but they have a beautiful meaning as well. You be the judge. I leave it to you. I don't know if I really kept on track or anything with this tag. I don't mean to offend or anything. I love the topic. I thought it was really interesting, and I think you got a point. The pretentious douchebag in the pretentious douchebag sense. Thanks a lot, pal. Talk to you later.